at the end of the first round to see if anybody else wants to get in on the tail end. So, good morning to all. This is Vintage Military Radio Net. This is Chuck, K0DWC, and I'll be your net control this morning, operating on 3.974 megacycles. The Vintage Military Radio Net is a roundtable AM net that provides an opportunity for licensed hands to operate their vintage military gear, radio gear on the air. And military gear is encouraged, but certainly not a requirement. Just general interest in military gear is usually the topic of discussion. And I'll call for check-ins at the end of each roundtable session. If anybody has anything for sale or a want, please mention it during your turn in the roundtable session. So before I go down, see if anybody else wants to get in right now. Be number 7. Come now. Okay, nothing heard. So here is the list as I have it in the order that I've heard people. In the number 1 spot is Ron, NU6F. In the number 2 spot is Mike, W7MS. In the number 3 spot is Steve, W6SSP. In the number 4 spot is Bill, N6BCP. And number 5 spot is Kevin, WA6JKN. And in the 6th spot is Henry, WA7YBS. So good morning again to all. And I'll just give you my quick equipment rundown. Running the ART-13, Carlos ART-13 this morning, and listening on a Hallicrafters R274 receiver with a Hallicrafters LS3 speaker. And we're running 200 watts with the D104 microphone through an inverted V. So that's the rundown here. So with that, we'll go up to the top. We'll go over to Reno for the first 2 check-ins. And Ron, go ahead and take it. NU6F. This is K0DWC. Go ahead.
Okay, good deal. K0DWC. And Mike, Steve, Bill, Kevin. Let's go Henry. Well, so far, so good. We got, I'm using the TRC 174 this morning, driving the amp, and I don't know, looks like a couple hundred watts. But yeah, I'm still hearing that buzzsaw 2RM in the background. But yeah, we'll see if it just drops out again. I never did check. Is it still Russian buster kind of a deal over the horizon radar, or is it TICOM? One or the other. Well, anyhow, good deal. And yes, Mike, Henry, like I said, yeah, it was a fun shopping trip over to Ham and Hi-Fi. A lot of neat keys. So yeah, I'll be polishing and painting and making insulators and whatnot to fix up a couple of these keys that I got. But that was a fun trip over to Ham and Hi-Fi. All right, let's see. With that, over to Mike, who is almost got as much at his QTH as Ethan has ever had there at Ham and Hi-Fi. W7MS. And you success.
Well, I don't know what to say. Hello. Yeah, I guess we're somewhat modulating here. But NU6F and the Nevada Military Radio Collectors Net, W7MS, Mike and Reno. Well, good morning to one and all. Good signals. Getting that nuance from the People's Republic of China this morning, but hearing everybody just fine. And well, yeah, the floor hasn't collapsed into the crawl space yet, but we're still working on that, Ron. But this morning, running the old number ones, the 30K1 its companion exciter, the 310B thingy, and listening on the 75A1 receiver. So we're kind of, unlike other folks on frequency here, we're kind of anti-military today, but not by choice, by decision. But Ron sounded good on the PRC 171, doing better, and we love the little nuance of military microphone there. It's great to hear. But we'll keep it rolling on the initial round introduction here. But over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And, whoa. Yeah, okay. I think it's working. For some reason, the SWR starts off very, very high and falls off. I think it's just burning moisture off the antenna insulators. We'll see. Anyway, good morning, everybody, and Merry, Merry Christmas. Good to hear everybody on. And, boy, really, really strong signals today. Chuck, you're probably the strongest I've ever heard you. The S-meter on the 75A1 here is rather stingy. And you're up at S9, which is about as strong as anybody ever gets. So, excellent signals from everybody. Good condition. So, anyway, this is Steve, just north of Santa Rosa. TV1 and 75A1 transmitter, both from 1946 and 47. Not military, but close enough. We'll keep it going. Over to Bill on beautiful Half Moon Bay, M6B16, 6 SSP.
Okay, Bill. Boy, you got a big signal, 20 over S9. I think that's, well, I don't know if I've heard you. This is WA6KT and Kevin and Gilroy. Yeah, I don't know if this rig is ever used in the military or not. I'll have to call it pending civil war. Yeah, this radio will probably be used in a pending civil war. There you go. The ICOM 7610. Well, anyway, yeah, I was firing up the KW Sugar 1, and I couldn't hear anything on the 7584, so I got to figure out what that's all about. Yeah, I was going to fire that thing up. Transmitter's working fine, but the receiver didn't hear anything, so I must have a dirty connection somewhere, bad connection. Anyway, I'm copying everybody just fine. And good morning to Chuck and Ron, Mike, Steve, Bill, and Henry. To tail end Charlie, it looks like, this morning. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't talk to you before then. And we've already had companies start arriving yesterday, and we got more coming in today. And man, oh man, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a lot of great festivities, lots of food, and good times, and stuff like that. One of our participants is going to be turning 90. So that's my father-in-law. He's a good man. Anyway, looking forward to their arrival later this afternoon. Well, let's keep it moving here. I turn it over to Henry, WA7 YBS from the north, WA6JKN, Kevin and Gilroy.
Okay. WA6JK and WA7YBS, and let me look. Yeah, looks like we're modulating. Okay, scope is across the room, but I can see it. Well, good morning to all. Good signals from everybody. G5 copy. And yeah, it was 19 degrees this morning. And it's high clouds right now, high clouds and 19 degrees, so yeah, winter's here. Yeah, at least as far as temperatures are concerned, winter's here. We are on the ARG-13A, the Sama Fugitive. This is the one that was a basket case several years ago, and has been, was rebuilt. I rebuilt it several years ago, and I've had to repair it a couple of times. So this thing has had a lot of parts installed in it to keep it running, which is kind of not typical of ARG-13s. Usually, once you get them going, that's it. They don't crap out on you very often. But this one, well, you know, it went through Sama. What can you say? San Antonio Air Material area, and so there we go. Coincidentally, and you would think that we actually talked on the phone and planned this, but I'm running the, for the receiver, the Hallicrafters R274 also. Don't know what that is. It is the Signal Corps designed receiver, built in, well, it was designed post-World War II, probably designed by the Signal Corps in 47, 48, and built by Hallicrafters for the Signal Corps. And they did a couple of contracts. This one is a 1949 contract, which was the first contract. Second contract was in 1952, and that was for the R274D, a little slightly different version. And that was the only two contracts they ever made. I don't know why the Signal Corps didn't buy it. It was their design, but they just didn't. And as a result, Hallicrafters, being probably stuck with about 500 of them, decided to rename them the SX-73 and try to peddle them to the ham public, their commercial users, along about 52, 53, somewhere in there, for $900. Of course, sales weren't brisk, and so you don't see too many SX-73s around. You do see quite a few of the R274s, but as far as Hallicrafters first, I know that isn't saying much, but at any rate, it is, anyone who has ever owned one or examined one knows that it wasn't designed by Hallicrafters. So anyway, that's the rundown on the receiver and the transmitter antennas, the collinear array. So with that, you better tell them, Chuck, we didn't plan this. Well, not too much anyway. K0DWCWA7YBS.
Okay, Henry. Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, you told me you were going to run yours first, and then me with the brilliant idea, hey, I'll run mine too. Oh, that's great. I love that kind of stuff. That's fun. But boy, everybody's just pounding in here. And hey, guys, one thing to remember about our net, Henry Mine's net, as Mike alluded to, you guys run what you want to run. I mean, it doesn't have to be military gear all the time. I totally agree with Mike. It's just a decision that each individual has to make. And then we have our topics about military radio, this, that, and the other. But don't anybody feel bad about running non-military gear, because that's not a prerequisite. We didn't want to put that in there and pressure people into running just military gear only. It'd be great, and most of the time it all happens. So it's not a problem. It never has been. And my hat's off to Mike for stating that, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Mike. 30K1 sounds great. Steve's 32V1 sounds fantastic, and Kevin's IC7610 sounds wonderful. So and then the rest of us have the running military stations this morning, and everybody there sounded fantastic. So life is good, like Mike says. All right, let's see. Is there anybody that wants to get in on the tail end of the first round of B number 7? Come now.
Okay, see if I got it. Boy, I tell you, that noise was, buzzsaw was really getting things this time. But anyhow, all right, well, good deal, guys. I know the, like you say, military or not, it's RF. Can't tell at the other end. Yeah, I'm sure that the helicrafters, engineers, turn over in their grave whenever Henry gives them that backhanded compliment. Probably the best that helicrafters ever made, if that can be said. Oh, well, that was my first receiver, SX24. I still got it. In fact, John, AMI, said that when he was here, said that he had an old SX24. He wanted to rebuild someday, but he probably didn't get around to it. And he says, well, let me know if you're interested. His case sounds like it was, the cabinet sounded like it was better. And I remember I had to change out the power transformer on mine with some kludgy thing back in the days with the TV transformer and some other dropping resistors and crud, but didn't have any money, and I had to repair the helicrafters with what you had. And yeah, Henry, let's see. Hold on, let me switch things here. Okay, a little bit less power, but looks like maybe I don't need it. Anyhow, yeah, like was alluding to, and Henry already swapped a couple of emails, and one of the things there at Hammond Hi-Fi was a micrograph piece, which that was fun to go in and pick that up. And Henry, it wasn't until last night that I figured out the last thing that it needs, which was, I mean, it was all the parts that looked like a micrograph, but there was nothing worked. I mean, I couldn't see any dot contacts. I couldn't see any dash contacts, and there were brass pieces going every which way, and nameplate said what it was, but the last piece of it last night, and actually, as opposed to you pick up something that's secondhand and you don't know if it's got enough parts. Well, it turns out it's got too many parts. So I've got 2 extra parts that really don't go anywhere on this. So all I can figure is somebody took apart a couple of keys and made one out of it or something. But whatever. Pretty. Other than the green base, but we'll take it all apart, strip it down, and make it black. So that was my big find yesterday. And yeah, like we're saying, it was easy for my brother Larry as Christmas shopping. He got parts for his M37 truck. So no more ties and no more gift certificates needed. It's not a military vehicle that's 70 years old that needs work. So easy to find out what to buy him. Parts, more parts. And John, okay, on the father-in-law coming up on 90 years old. Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, I wonder which side of the microphone I will be in by that time. And Mike, on serial number 1, and here it's still chugging along, and yeah, you can look at that old ad of Art Collins selling that model number 1, serial number 1 rather. Steve, good deal on the classic twins there, and I need a wheelbarrow R390 report. Okay, with that, this is Ray Mike, W7MS, NU6F.
Well, thank you, Ron. Oh my gosh, so much to comment on here. But NU6F, W7MS, and good reception from all here in Reno. And a correction, yeah, the exciter for this is a 310A. I said 310B, but we'll blame that on the usual first cup of coffee syndrome problems. But you know, that's only an excuse. But great to hear everybody. And one comment here that's a little interesting that has to do with the D10 amplified D104. I'm using the K0SF dual MOSFET op-amp in this, which was based on an article Steve had written in the probably about 25 years ago in QST. And I ran across this in the old manila envelope in the freebie pilot Hammond High 5 a number of years ago. But it installed it in this microphone. Interesting little project. But I did run into Steve on 20 meters a month or two ago and commented on, hey, I've got a D104 with your project out of the 90s QST, and he was like, huh? It was so long ago. It's a really interesting conversation. He asked me if I liked it, how that sounded. So it was kind of an interesting to run into the perpetrator of that article, his offer of these little kit boards for the D104, and the fact that I found one at Hammond High 5, and I was not aware of it at all of this version of the amplified D104 projects that have transpired over the years. But great on that. Comments on the keys. I met somebody that turned Ron onto the pile since I was over there a few weeks ago, and Ethan had just unloaded what came out of the late Ralph's W7SK, Ralph's Covington's estate, and as I'd come in to Ron, the garage had been cleaned out with his key collection, but he said, no, this came out of his bedroom. So I don't know if there was room to actually sleep in that bedroom based on the pile of, it's just amazing. Ralph was the consummate key collector, even to the point that when Ethan was listing his keys on consignment, Ralph was bidding on his own key collection. So it was an interesting story. That's, when you're obsessive is good. That's what most of us collectors are up to. But, yeah, comments, I'll address Henry's comments. We always give each other an eye wink on our opinion of helicrafters, receivers, because, you don't want to shade anybody. You don't want to diss them. There are plenty of helicrafters fans, but Henry and I are resonant on the total opinion and the opinion on the R274, since, of course, I have the D version. But who knows? Maybe that SX73 is lurking somewhere at a garage sale, so you complete the set. But great on all, great on Christmas activities, family activities, and yeah, it's happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So it's looking good and no snow in the forecast. So no complaints. Just winter lows and winter highs for the day. But over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yeah, watching the meters here. Yeah, it looks okay. Strange conditions today. Ron went down into the noise. I was only able to copy about 20% of what he said. But everybody else is fairly strong. Some people coming in, but like I say, a little bit odd conditions. Ron is usually very, very strong here, so that's how it goes. The propagation of I got this morning from a friend I've known for many, many years. Looks like I've known his son and family for a long time, too. He's a good guy. He was part of the transmitter recreation project at Cape York, so his specialty is motors and generators going from large three-phase motors in that thing, which was a major undertaking. I don't think any of the rest of us could have done that. Anyway, Tom is also an expert in electric radios, which are still quite fast. A number of people in the area, and anyway, I've known him for many, many years, and been telling him about ham radio and trying to talk it up, and he just has shown no interest whatsoever. He's made a comment a few times where he's listened to 20 years and 30 years, and some of the conversations that he's heard, and we've all heard those conversations too. Anyway, I got a Merry Christmas email from him.
Okay, Bill, boy, your signal's still 20 plus over 9. It's amazing. Copying everybody still, and good comments all the way around. Yeah, the holidays are right around the corner. Yeah. Well, the only thing I have, I'm looking forward to it coming into the new year is related to ham radio is ICOM's firmware that's been released. I think it's kind of in a beta format right now, with the target for the customers being in Japan, but it's available for anybody in the world to download it, and I'm getting good reports. I'm hearing good reports on the digital pre-distortion. Now, I don't think it's adaptive pre-distortion, but it's digital pre-distortion for sure. Some of the spectrum analysis is showing that it's got a fairly decent brick wall for IMD, so that's what the doctor's ordered is. It's just an incredible enhancement to amateur radio to keep us within our passband, when we're transmitting. As you know, especially with vintage gear, when you're running one old piece of equipment into another piece of old equipment known as an amplifier, you can end up taking up quite a bit of band space. And this new technology is kind of forcing the good neighbor policy. Because, a lot of hams, they don't understand, may not have the equipment. It could be a number of things about monitoring their own signal. And they just don't have the right equipment. And of course, the web SDRs aren't necessarily a good lab grade spectrum analyzer, but maybe from a receiver standpoint, it could find gross signals that are pretty wide. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about this digital pre-distortion. It helps out a lot of people that just don't have the equipment. They don't fully understand what the regulations are and stuff like that. But it deals with IMD, so Looking forward to it. I haven't installed the beta version yet. I want to wait for the official U.S. version, which is supposed to be coming out by the end of the year, I think, or maybe right after the first of the year, and get that installed in the radio and see how it works. I know the beta version for digital pre-distortion has knocked out a couple of drivers for the computer and things like that, so I don't want to mess with that. I spent literally years getting everything set up here digitally, and it wasn't easy. I had to learn along the way, and I finally got it where it's all working, and I don't want to mess with it. It's an unknown unknown. All right. So that's it in regards to new ham radio stuff. I did help Larry. I don't remember Larry's call. He's got a KW Sugar 1, and we've been having lots of fun getting that thing back on the air, and so we should be hearing from Larry probably after the first of the year with his KW Sugar 1. He's excited about it, and it's a good sounding rig, and it's pretty solid now as we go through it. And the Globe King 500 is up and running. It's working fairly well. And I finally got the modulator adjusted properly to where it's not splattering all over the band. And that was something. The old bucket of bolts, it's slightly, it requires a little bit more tender loving and care when you operate it. You got to pay attention. And thank goodness for having the proper monitoring equipment here to be able to see what's going on. All right, so I've been having fun with ham radio and the new technology, the old technology, and even worked on my antenna this week on 40 meters. And it played a little bit with the 75 meter antenna, so it's given me better results for the standing wave ratio, so that's always a good thing for the equipment. All right, over to you, Henry. It's good to hear you. You also have a very nice signal. Mike is always strong, and Steve, Bill is I think, probably the loudest here. And Ron, not doing too bad either. So WA7YBS, WA6JKN, Kevin and Gilroy.
Okay. WA6JKN, WA7YBS. Okay. Good copy on everybody. Although, Steve, quite a bit of noise on the signal. I don't know if it was, adjacent frequency or on frequency, but it was pretty intense on you, and so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this ART13 that I'm running is the power supply is that Dynasim Dragon Run Mark 1, and it's the solid state. Well, you can hear the Lambda switching power supply scream in there. The fan on it is just intense. And but they advertised the thing as able to do, I think, 25 amps if I remember right, and that thing it'll do 25 amps, but it's amazing. So anyway, it's all part of the power supply for this ART13. And let's see. Yes, keys and the mechograph. Well, the mechograph was a side, what do they call it, a right angle key or something like that. The telegraphers back in that time, 1908, 1909, 1910, around in there, called that the right angle key. And, the guy that designed that was named William Coffey, and he was no engineer. He could barely draw. And so when he came up with that design and ran down to the patent office to patent it, well, the guys at the patent office looked at the drawing and they just laughed. It took them 2 years to get that patent through the patent office. I forget, I think it was 1904 that he took it down there. And he didn't get the patent until 1906. And of course, Horace Martin, Vibraplex, he went down in 1904 with his more standard, what we're used to, bug. And of course, Martin was a mechanical whiz. Of course, he could do mechanical drawings without a problem. And, he submitted his, and it was approved, right away. And so Vibraplex, or Horace Martin, got his patent ahead of William Coffey, but William Coffey submitted his first. And it was only by, a couple of months or so, but it was such a kludge. It was a contraption that Coffey designed. It took real nerve for Coffey and Benjamin Billows, the owner of Mechograph, to actually sue Vibraplex. And they claimed that, all kinds of stuff. Well, it ended up going to court, and Mechograph won. The first time they lost. They appealed, and on the appeal they won on one factor, and that was the pendulum. And so they made a big deal over that. But the Mechograph, Ron, when you get that running, you'll find out that the Mechograph isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's a pretty crummy key. And compared to a Vibraplex, it's like it was designed by an amateur, and that they were continually tinkering with it. The original ones were built on a wooden base, so you can imagine, and had a vertical pendulum. They were crazy. It was a real goofy key, but at any rate, they hung around until Benjamin Bellows dropped dead, and then his widow, Nellie Bellows, she sold the company to Vibraplex. So that was the end of Mechograph. Kind of a funny story, but maybe not. But at any rate, that's the story of Mechograph. And out of that stuff of Ralph's, I managed to get something too there. I don't know if maybe, I don't know how long it was at up there at Ethan's, but I spotted it when I was up there. It was about a week and a half ago or so. And it's an R.C. Allen Visiomatic mill typewriter, probably from about 1960 or so. It's a genuine mill. It's all caps, /0, all of that stuff. But it's a R.C. Allen Visiomatic. And so anyway, that was the last bit of stuff of Ralph's that was telegraph related, but not really telegraph. But anyway, it's a pretty cool looking mill. It's kind of a two-tone light brown color, and very spacey looking. So anyway, that's the rundown on that. And let's see. Yes, Helicrafters. Well, they made some. They made some okay radios. It's all right. SX28s, ANGR2s, of course the BC610s, but they love those self-tapping screws, and I don't know. Self-tapping screws and precision work just don't seem to go together. So anyway, we'll turn it back to Chuck before I get into any more trouble. K0DWC WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry. Alrighty, good deal. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting story on the Vibraplexes and the Mechograph. That's pretty interesting. Nice story on that. That's pretty cool. I like stories like that. But anyway, well, good. Everybody picked something up from not everybody, but some of you picked up some stuff from Ethan, so congratulations to all who purchased stuff there. And Ron, congratulate Larry on getting some new parts for his truck. I'm sure he'll be tickled to death with all that. That's great. And I want to wish John Svoboda, if John's listening, W6MIT, I want to wish him a happy holiday and hope he's doing well. And we're thinking about him. So, John, if you're listening, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff, and we hope you're doing well. So anyway, let me see if there's anybody who wants to get on the tail end of the second round here and be number 7. Come now.
W6 Alpha, Quebec in uniform.
Well, there's Mr. Bob. Good morning, sir. Stand by, Bob. I got you in the 7th spot. Is there anybody else that wants to check in on the tail end of the second round and be number 8? Come now. Okay, nothing heard. So we will go to W6AQU, Bob. And good morning to you, sir. You sound great. Nice signal. And when you're done, send it back up to me, K0DWC. So W6 Able Queen Uncle to take it. This is K0DWC. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, thank you, Chuck, and good morning to you and the net. This is Montague, W6AQU, slept on this morning, waiting for the numbers to get higher.
Bob blew a fuse.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's probably what happened, but Bob, W6AQU, you still on frequency, or did you blow a fuse? Okay, well, we'll check back with Bob on the 7-3 round and go from there. So let me make one more try and see if Bob is there. W6AQU, are you there, Bob? This is K0DWC. Okay, if you can hear me, we'll get you around on the next on the 7-3 round. So we'll go back up to Ron, NU6F in the group, K0DWC. Go ahead, Ron. The PRC 174 sounds good.
Okay, well, I switched over to the T3 since I wasn't sure if, well, mostly the PRC 174 may do its thing, but yeah, listening on that tinny speaker and the handset, why, yeah, it's kind of grating on the ears. So I'm over on the big rig, and well, yeah, good. It was good hearing you in there, Bob, and yeah, like in No Time for Sergeants. Well, what Pa always does is he spits in the back and whomps at one. There you go. Give it a shot. And yeah, Henry, on the mechograph history, yeah, I read several articles on that, and yeah, and they all alluded to that, and almost makes you want to see what that original patent, that original sketch was that Coffey submitted, what it looked like. But yeah, don't know who's, you know, who had the idea first and, you know, put it in service first. But yeah, obviously, why, yeah, Horace Martin's design went through. But yeah, it's kind of a neat key in being this right angle. Yeah, and now that I found a stronger spring to replace a missing one, it really has got a fair amount of stored energy in that pendulum. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see what I can make it sound like. The fixed contact for the Dotso, it's pretty flimsy. I'm just picturing on a telegrapher's key, You know, you had to make sure you had a good, what do they call it? The relay they use for keying. They usually call it, I think they call it a repeater. You had to have something to interrupt something with bigger contacts to interrupt any current. I would say that these contacts on the dot contact won't take much more than 150, a couple hundred milliamps at the most. But anyhow, yeah, it was cool to find that, and yeah, like you say, Ralph must have had a heck of a collection, and well, it looks like almost all of them will end up in a good home. The other key I got was that presentation, which was, I told Ethan beforehand, I'm always looking for a key, a Navy keys, and so yeah, this one was, I still haven't found all the details on the owner, but yeah, it's got, it's a 1953, I think, 1953 presentation, and it's got one name engraved on the top, and then on the side it's got another name engraved, U.S. Navy 59 or 55 to 80, or 59 to 80. So, not sure how it passed from one to the other, but yeah, there's a story on every radio, a story on every key, every microphone. That's interesting, Mike, on that K0FF preamp for the D104. I didn't know, I hadn't heard about that one, but yeah, and then to go ahead and find one of the boards there at Hammond Hi-Fi. Yeah, I told at the Christmas party yesterday, my grandniece and I, you guys have seen off and on, why, yeah, I gave her one gag gift with a card, and inside I had printed up a nice gift certificate, $150 at Hammond Hi-Fi. She opened it up and rolled her eyes. The other kids didn't know what the heck she was laughing about, but I said, no, it's at your favorite shoe store, so we'll go there for a shopping trip sometime. Yeah, but it really is good having Ethan's shop around here. And yeah, when you were talking about Hallicrafters, I hadn't thought about it, the self-tapping screws. I forgot all about that. You're right. Like, yeah, they kind of got sprinkled everywhere. Well, anyhow, let's see, not too much else going on. Steve, you can probably copy me now, and so yeah, I need to hear the R390 the wheelbarrow R390 report. Okay, over to Mike, W7MS NU6F.
Mike, let me jump in there real quick. I apologize, guys. I neglected to say this was a 7-3 now. I think I did anyway. But, Ron, do you want to go ahead and say your 7-3s and then hand it back over to Mike?
Okay, I'll have the last word. 73s, guys. Hope everyone has a great Christmas. And with that, take it away, Mike.
Well, it helps to have it in the operate position on the 30K1. Well, I'm speechless. Thank you, Chuck. And I'm being remiss, but I did make an assumption here, but you gave Ron a second chance to issue his salutations to the group. So W7MS here. Well, great comments on all, and I guess as far as the history of keyology, there's always a time and a place for inventions and entrepreneurs and a chance to make a buck. And it's amazing to think that bugs and keys in general had their moment in time. And as technology advanced, it was another vein of gold to mine from various folks, and also the fact that quite often if you're successful in business, it's how you can, well, I can't say screw your competitors, but maybe work them over to be successful in the marketplace. So it's all good, and I guess Ron can track down a few headstones there and find out where these people are located, but that's all good.
on that subject of history. And for Kevin, I think you need to maybe gift some IMD correction equipment to 3900, the Magalia man. But I think that won't do any good. That might only encourage him to enhance his IMD products. But that's another subject, and I'm sure this will be relayed to him via the jungle drums, via the ham community. My comments here this morning, but that's all good. Congratulations, Henry, on the mill. He literally still had the stuff in the boxes, so I had no idea what he had, other than he had a mound of keys and paraphernalia from Ralph's bedroom. So congratulations on that find. And I think with that, I'm just going to say 73s. Thanks, Chuck, for running the net. And Steve did have some nuance of intermittent there. I wasn't quite sure, but as Henry commented on, but he was still, he's still doing okay, but something was amiss. But let's see what Steve's up to. And 7-3s, everybody have a great forward to the end of the year. And that's the way I'll keep it. So 7-3s, W6SSP, W7MS.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for the signal, folks, guys. Things are kind of slowing down now. Contact occasionally, so hopefully that's all it is. I just want to check out. It is or not, and congratulations on the mill. That's really cool. I've been kind of not that I really need one, but it's pretty cool to have. You came way up. I didn't realize you were on the status on the wheelbarrow, all the parts, the age, and I'm going to use equipment for at least a week or two. Before I get to alignment, and Henry was doing very good once again. He did me for the parts I need to install before I do the alignment. So I will come in, I'll hopefully finish this project out. And of course, every time you get to alignment, it's going to try new problems. So it'll be an ongoing process, but a very enjoyable process. Kevin, very good on the
Bill, yeah. Signals are going down a little bit, but everybody's hanging in there. I want to say hello to Bob. W6SU from the north. Hopefully you're able to still copy me, but boy, you were blasted in here. Nice signal, Bob. Welcome aboard. Yeah, 73 round. Hopefully you were able to figure out whatever it was that took you off the air. You'll be able to join us for the 73 round. Make it an extra long transmission there, Bob. Love to hear from you, see how you're doing and how the family is and what you got planned for Christmas. Yeah, if you celebrate Christmas. I'm sure you do. And yeah, digital pre-distortion, I'm not the expert on it. I know a little bit about it. I know what it's supposed to do, and I just think it's fantastic, quite frankly. I just want to remind you, whatever it is, I'm right there giving it a try and keeping an eye on it and implement it in the ham shack and just keep going with all the new stuff. It's pretty amazing. All right, 73 routes, so I got to keep this short. Want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. The very best to you and your families. And yeah, as far as 3900, yeah, that's a standard for what would you call it? I can't even think of the name. Why we have zoos? Yeah, why we have cages in zoos? Yeah, something like that. Oh well. All right, 73. Take care and. Over to you, Henry. The historical professor of all things known to ham radio. Every time I hear you describe the historical stuff on ham radio, it just amazes me, Henry. You are what, an encyclopedia of ham radio and the history. It's a wonderful thing. We're very, very lucky to have you in this neck of the woods so we can hear and learn about the history of ham radio. By the way, I did pass on your website to another man, but at a T368 was looking for information. It was easy to help him out by referring him to your website. So that's another great asset to the amateur community. So thank you for doing that, Henry. WA7YBS, 73 to everyone. WA6JCAN. Take it away, Henry.
K6BXY is here late.
Well, there's Vern. And Vern, I'm going to take the liberty of putting you as number 8. I'm going to usurp Chuck there, who's actually net control. And yeah, we're in the 73 round there, Vern, but you'll be after Bob if Bob checks in. And so anyway, that good morning to you. Sounds like you just woke up. And so, okay. Let's see. Steve, yeah, your transmission sounded fine that time. No problems. It was clear, and, conditions are changing, so of course it wasn't as strong as you were earlier. But still, there was no nuances of really anything wrong. So it cleared up whatever it was. And let's see. One more thing on Horace Martin and the pendulum. Horace Martin did invent the pendulum part. He patented it in 1903, and it was for the autoplex. And those sneaky guys at Mechograph, what their argument was that pendulum was actuated by a battery, and that the Mechograph had the energy stored in the pendulum by the spring. And of course, Martin had already, drawn up his and submitted it, but at any rate, Martin did have the pendulum, and that's how he won the first battle between Vibraplex and Mechograph, was because of the autoplex. But then the lawyers there for Coffey and Bellows, argued that, well, wait a minute, that pendulum was battery initiated. The energy came from a battery. And so the Mechograph and the later Vibraplex was all mechanical. So anyway, a little bit of minutia of the battles that did go on, and it was ruthless, quite ruthless, from about 1904 up to about World War I. Very ruthless. So yeah. Anyway, we'll say 73, and everybody have, as Mike said, good rest of the year. And with that, we'll turn it over to Bob and see if he's recovered. And if not, Kevin is in there too, K6BXY, so W6AQU. Over to you, Bob, 73.
Very good. Thank you, Henry. Good morning, Vern. And Kevin, long time no hear. Wonderful signal up here. Well, yes, I blew a 15 amp breaker. I'm in the shack, in the house, and trying to run a 3500Z, pushing it with a little, what would you say, 7300. So that's just trying to run about 100 watts here. Oh, anyhow, yeah, I slept in this morning, waiting for the temperature to come up. It's become December up here and winter here a day or two ago. So all stations that I'm hearing are loud and clear, actually. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Having to turn to Vern. EXY. Someplace lost in the woods. I'll be listening. It's a W6 Abel, Queen's uncle. Although I was late, I didn't know it was that late. Thanks, Bob. Now you must have been number 10. I must have write down the order. YBS is number 10. I'll figure it out. But anyhow,
that went well. It was nothing to it. Whatever did, they shot me with a little needle. I didn't need anything after that. I went there and it was easy, but I had a ruler went in the trash, so I got a new ruler. They're making them better now. The one I got, I'm not going to advertise. I think it was a Stanley though, because I used to get everything from Orchard Supply, which closed. And anyhow, they lock much better. You open them and they automatically lock. And then when you do release it, especially if it's out longer, it will only come back slowly. The only time it comes back fast is maybe it's a foot or two long, extended. It's a much better safety. But then I'm looking into a laser. They make these laser things so I can use those. Found one by Klein, so I was going to get that one. And you can measure inside and outside. And I want to, this might be able to tell me how high things are. Had a squirrel report for those of you that in the squirrels, the wife saw them outside above the aluminum wrap I have around the tree. That was about a week and a half ago, but nothing happened from it. But I'm going to have to try and do something very soon because they're only going to give me a little bit of time. That was like a warning, and then they'll get me. Thanks for letting me in there, Henry, and I will say 73s to all. And I assume Chuck and Henry. And Merry Christmas tomorrow, my wife's birthday today. And Happy New Year next week. And Happy Thanksgiving. I think I was around for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I've been off for I've been off now for 2 weeks. And this is 17. And actually, I only missed one of them. I might have been late on that. Well, I was thinking like it's a long shoot. I used to 5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I just glued them all together. Anyhow, thank you, Chuck. The signal is wow. Canada 20 over. So, good morning all, and I'll hope to be more prompt next week, which will be New Year's Eve morning. And so I should have no excuses for being late next week except my inability to get up. 73, back to you, Chuck, and thanks again, Henry. 30 and 73 to Mike, who's probably here, and I'll say 73 to Bill. I heard N6BCT, and Jerry, and whoever else might be here. K6 VXY back to net control. K0 DWC. Good morning.
Okay, Vern. Well, good morning to you, and thanks for being there to check in this morning. And to Bob. Bob, I'm glad you got your circuit breaker there fixed, and you had a very nice signal in here this morning, my friend. So anyway, everybody had good signals this morning. I mean, it got kind of cloudy here at the end, but I mean, all in all, everybody had very good signals this morning. So we had pretty good conditions. So anyway, okay, gentlemen. Well, I guess that'll wrap it up for today. Henry will be net control New Year's Eve next Sunday morning. And with that, I will secure the net for this morning. And I want to thank everybody for their participation and invite everybody back next Sunday morning. So, look, you guys have a Merry Christmas, and take care and be safe, and have a good week ahead as well. So, and a Happy New Year. So, take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. So with that, I will turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So this is Vintage Military Radio Net. This is K0DWC signing off. 7-3, gentlemen.